So in 2022, I built myself a bed and I was really stoked about it. It was the first thing I ever built, and it was something that I built out of necessity. The design was essentially a bunch of like 2x4 frames and then connecting those with plywood. In 2023, I decided I wanted to remake my bed so that it would be more stable, but at the same time I wanted to use less wood, have it be lighter. And so, with no experience, I decided to make a mortise and tenon joint by hand that I would use to join the legs and the horizontal supports of my new bed. If I had had the money to have someone else build out my van, I totally would have done that, because the choice to purchase and move into my van came out of my life circumstances, not so much out of a desire directly to build a home for myself, especially because I didn't know how to build anything before I got my van. But thankfully, you can pretty much learn anything from woodmagazine.com. So I was able to teach myself a lot of the basics. At some point in my autodidactic journey on the internet, I came across some of the people who are now like my favorite YouTubers, specifically Laura Kampf. Part of it was seeing a queer woman, builder, maker, woodworker, but also just like her attitude towards making really excited me and drew me in. Lighthearted and playful, vulnerable, transparent, like all of these things that I did not associate with building, carpentry. Unconsciously associated the trades with toxic masculinity. I never considered that there might be a place for people with my identity, people with my personality in these trades. And of course, this was just because like I had not been introduced to this community. I didn't know that there were people out there approaching this type of craft with curiosity and friendliness and joy and a desire to share that joy with others. And so suddenly I was like, oh, these are the people I want to associate with. And so that's the point that I sort of went from building my van out of necessity to, oh, like, I'm going to be a maker and it's going to extend beyond my van, which was kind of a huge moment for me because growing up, I never really had something that I felt was motivating, driving, inspiring me moving through my life. You know, when I was younger, I was like, oh, I just haven't found it yet. But by the time I was in my 30s, I was like, I think that maybe this thing just like isn't out there. What that meant for me was that a lot of my life, I was really just going through the motions, fulfilling the obligations that I had signed myself up for, like work and school and volunteering my time. I was trying to do things that I felt were important and beneficial to the world. Among that, I so rarely felt excited and inspired. So happy. Not never, but rarely. That was just my normal. I'm feeling like a little grief right now.
Oh yeah?
Because no one told me I could be doing this.
What do you mean?
Like no one told me I could do this.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That sucks. I'm sorry. I mean, but you're doing it now.
I want to cry.
You're amazing.
It's so fun.
Yeah, I bet you're having a good time. I love it.
I think that what I feel grief for is all of the time that I spent feeling so aimless and without purpose, struggling to get out of bed, struggling to want to do anything because I was just not excited by or inspired by the things I was doing in my life. I so often ended up making relationships the center of my life because of that lack of inspiration. So this point where I went from, well, I'm just building my van to I'm going to make stuff was also the point where I think I knew I was going to start making videos because I wanted to be one more person that somebody else could see their self in and know that they could also be weird and make stuff and do hard things that they've never done before. To me, one of the most tragic things about the trades being so dominated by cis white men is that so many people who are not cis men and who are not white may never get to learn that one of these trades is their passion or their calling. If we don't see ourselves represented in that field, we don't feel welcomed or considered, or we don't even wonder if there is a place for us there. Maybe we do, but are rejected or discriminated against in those spaces. I also think about all of the people who have died in Gaza since October 7th, 2023, which as of writing this on February 23rd, 2024, is approaching 30,000 people, at least 11,000 of which are children who have died, who won't ever even have the privilege of feeling angst about what their calling in life is because their lives were taken from them. Ultimately, the feeling that I'm left with is gratitude that I got to not only live to be 32 years old and figure out that I fucking love making stuff and woodworking specifically, and that I can share it with you and other people. And I want to say that my path here was by no means direct, and the journey is not over, but I'm glad you're here with me, and I thank you for witnessing me in this part of it.